Hi, welcome to Wicked Low Carbs. Our inaugural episode is going to be about my foray into the carnivore world. I'm participating in a carnivore diet study, and it's going to take place for 90 days. So I'm going to walk you through my first week. Today is day 7. I'm still standing. I'm still healthy, still conscious. I love it. But before we begin, I'm just going to preface it with the fact that you may see some little fur balls hopping in and out of camera. We'll introduce them as they come along. So, here we are, doing the carnivore diet study. I took some notes, because I'm a nerd, and that's what we do. And I don't want to screw this part up. Later vlogs, I'm sure, we'll go ahead and get more into the casual discussions. But for right now, I just want to do an overview of the study itself and my thoughts on it, and then my observations and a summary of what has happened in the last 7 days on my carnivore diet. So the diet itself is headed by Dr. Anthony J., who is a scientist at the Mayo Clinic and the author of a book called Estrogeneration. The primary focus of the study is to look at the effects of a carnivore diet on telomere length. A telomere is a compound structure at the end of a chromosome, which is a DNA molecule. These telomeres protect the genetic data, and they also are an indicator of aging at a cellular level. Lifestyle choices, diet, smoking, exercise can all impact the length of these telomeres and how protective they can be to you. You can definitely do an online search to figure out a whole lot more about telomeres. But that's the point of this study, is to look at the telomere length before and after doing a carnivore diet. I have been in the keto world since about 2014, and I've been really consistently keto since the beginning of 2017. I took a little break in 2016, but then I came back. And so going from a classic keto diet to a carnivore diet, not as big of a stretch as coming from a standard American diet to a carnivore diet. The basics of this study are interesting because you only get to eat a couple of things: red meat and salt. That is literally the couple of things. You also get to have plain, pure water. Nothing in it, no flavoring, no carbonation, nada, just water. And because he was so generous, we get to have some black coffee too. Again, nothing in the coffee, just black coffee, if you were already a coffee drinker, which it was. And so for 7 days, I have consumed red meat, salt, water, and coffee. And it's an unpaid volunteer study. I don't get anything but nerdy joy out of this, but it's the start. It's a kicking off point. There aren't a whole lot of studies on the carnivore diet right now. There's a lot of N of 1 experiments. There's a lot of anecdotal evidence. Obviously, there are many people who have been doing this for years, and they have their own data on it. But to have an official study launched that tracks the effects of this diet on the body is important. It's important not only just for the data that you get out of it itself, but it's important to start somewhere, because once you get this data, you can then get the funding for more data. You can open that door that leads further and further down, that gets you the data that you really want, the more complex stuff. So to me, it's a really important. I'm not a huge fan of meat, never have been. Anybody can tell you that. But I know that there are healing properties. I know that meat heals. I've seen it. I've experienced it with people in my life. And I just think that it's something that we need to look deeper into. So that's where I came from it. I heard about the study And I was immediately intrigued. I had to look into it. So I did, and I'm really excited. So Friday, the 28th of December, 2018, was my first day of carnivore. And let me tell you, coming off of Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the holiday hoopla, I definitely went off plan a bit, even for keto, and then back on and then off and on. But there were plenty of days of dairy and keto baked goods and nuts and all sorts of good stuff. And as of last Friday, no more. Not until the end of March. So the hashtags that you'll be looking for during this study are hashtag carnivore study and hashtag carnivore diet study. I'm also hashtagging on my Instagram as CDS 2019, but it looks like that could also mean a bunch of other things, so do be careful when you hashtag that. Yeah, I will also link below anything that I have on Dr. J, on the study, on telomeres, anything that I can find that's pertinent during the video. So that's basically where we're at. We're at week 1 of 12 weeks, and I feel really good. I actually feel fantastic. I feel like I'm in ketosis. I ran out of strips a couple days ago. My bad. Every time I did test, I was in ketosis. Anywhere from 0.4 to 0.9. And so let me give you some of my stats and a quick summary of what I've got. More nerdy paper stuff. But not giving actual numbers because the lady doesn't tell. Not that I'm a lady. I am down 7.4 pounds from when I started last Friday, which is roughly a pound a day. There are some possible confounders. Primarily, I suspect that my hormones came into play. It was exactly the wrong time of my monthly cycle to start a new plan. And so I suspect that at least a third, maybe half of that is just monthly bloat. But still, it feels really good to say that I'm down over 7 pounds in 7 days. The first 6 days, 6.5 even, I completely lost my appetite. I had no hunger. I had no cravings. I had no desire for food. I had no anticipation of food at all, which as a foodie stunk. I hated it. But it kept it easy. I wasn't tempted by anything because I really didn't want anything. I didn't want the meat in front of me. I was just bored with food. I was absolutely done with all of it. And not in a sense that I was defeatist or giving up, but that my body physically just stopped craving things. I had a weird feeling in my stomach. It was kind of full, kind of empty, kind of sore, but it wasn't a hunger like I've experienced before. So I assumed that was probably it. Another reason I could be feeling partly this way is because when I was in my 20s, I had my gallbladder out. And now that I don't have a gallbladder, having fatty meats isn't necessarily the best plan. But I think over time, I've gotten much better about it. So I'm not too worried about that. Let's see. All of a sudden, about 1 o'clock today, I finally felt hungry. It was awesome. I actually craved food again. I had the regular hunger signals that I'm used to. I got thirsty again, and I was off to the races. So I'm wondering if it was just a hormonal thing or just an adaptation thing, maybe a detox. Have no idea. But observation number 1, hunger went away and then came back after a week. And now I feel like I'm back on track. Both my water and my overall caloric intake has been down. I don't feel it as much because I'm fat adapted. So once my body stops eating, I just keep burning fat and I have plenty of energy for the day. But I've been tracking in MyFitnessPal, And I've been averaging about 1,000 calories a day, maybe 1,100 calories a day. And I'm not hungry for more. I am eating when I am hungry, and I am stopping when I am full. I've been trying to drink extra water. I can't get in more than 64 ounces of water. The salts I've been using are primarily the pink Himalayan salt and then a couple of different varieties of sea salt. A classic sea salt, a Celtic gray salt, and a Celtic pink salt. So that's been my only variety other than the types of meat that I've been having. I've had ground beef in the form of loose ground beef, in the form of hamburgers. I've had, we had a Delmonico ribeye on New Year's, which was excellent. We had a chuck roast in the slow cooker. We've had New York strip steaks. So I'm definitely hitting the diversity on that front. Hopefully in the next couple weeks, I'll diversify a little more, get into some organ meats, some bone marrow. I did buy soup bones so that I could make a bone broth with just the beef, salt, and water, and at least have a different warm drink than the coffee if I need. I've even gone with hot water just to get a different texture or a different temperature. But, so it's really weird only eating about a pound of meat total a day over 2 or 3 meals. At the beginning, I have to say, I was definitely not in a good mind frame for it. I did not prepare well. I was ready to do it emotionally, but I didn't have the food ready. I didn't have it bought. I didn't have it cooked. And then on day 3, I got hit with a massive migraine that knocked me out for most of the day. So couldn't keep anything down, wasn't hungry, wasn't anything. Once I got over that, then I was back on track, and the rest of the week has been absolutely wonderful. I've had my food prepped, I've had everything ready to go, I've got a handy little food scale in the kitchen, and it keeps me going. So that's been easy. Yeah, I'm getting over the food boredom. My only real craving at this point is an emotional craving for dairy. And that's just something that I've always been in love with. I'm just a dairy girl. So not having cream or cheese or anything like that, it's a little sad, but you know, I'm already 7 days in. How fast is this going to go? It's going to be awesome, and I'm going to feel so good at the end of it. I have had a light headache for most of the time, but I'm definitely thinking that there are confounders there as well. The beginning of the week was hormone related. Obviously the migraine was triggered by hormones. And so that could have carried over into a slight headache. It's been right here in the temples. So we'll see if that's doing anything beyond this week. And even today I have a light headache, but I noticed that my teeth and my jaws were really sore. And I'm thinking that I was grinding my teeth in my sleep. Had a lot of work stress. That could be contributing. So can't say whether the headache is related or not. I've been taking in, I think, adequate salt, usually between 3/4 and 1.5 teaspoons a day, depending on what I'm eating. Yeah, food tracking in MyFitnessPal is ridiculously easy because I'm eating the same 3 cuts of meat, and I just change the amount in grams that I'm eating. So I don't have to look up anything. I don't just have to find it once, and then I've got it. And the all-important question that everybody asks all the time, what's going on in the bathroom? Are you having issues? You don't have any fiber. You're going to die. You will never be able to poop. Well, that's all not true at all. I'm not going to get into graphic details. That's not the place for it here. But needless to say, things have been fine. I did notice after about day 3 that it just wasn't going. There was no need. But I haven't been constipated. I haven't been sore. I haven't felt backed up. It's been awesome. And I am back on track now. I don't think I'm going to go every single day, but I don't think I'm going to need to. So leaving it at that, that whole situation has been fine. You really don't need the plants and the fiber and all of that to have a healthy digestive system. You just don't. Your system will adapt. And let's see what else I've got. So far, I've not noticed any changes to my skin, hair, nails, anything like that. My sleep is consistent with pre-carnivore sleep, so I haven't noticed improvements or degradation to that. We'll see how that goes after the first week. And again, I'll keep track of that. My blood pressure has been pretty consistent. When I was measuring my glucose, it was anywhere between 73 and 117 on any given day. But again, the first few days were kind of crazy. So I'm going to see if that settles out. I'm taking progress pics and measurements every 2 weeks. So the 12th will be my next update on that, and I'll be able to give you another progress update on how my body comp is changing in addition to my weight loss. And that'll be exciting for me because that's the true test, is are you actually dropping fat? I wish I was able to do a DEXA scan to see what the fat comp is, but it's just not going to be a thing. But anyway, that is pretty much my summary on week 1 of the Carnivore Diet study. If you are interested, definitely let me know. You can follow me on Instagram. We've got a Facebook page, Wicked Low Carbs. We do have a Twitter. I'm not super active on it, mostly just reposts from my Instagram. But yeah, Insta is my most common, and then you can follow me around. And if you're looking for regular keto, this is also a great place to go. If you're just looking for low carb ideas, this is a great channel as well. We will be posting non-carnivore stuff. Apologies, those were the beasties. And if you want different recipes, let me know and we'll go from there. Until next week, I hope you guys all have an awesome, awesome week. No matter what you're doing, have a great start to your year. And we'll see you on the next episode.